The stars burned cold and endless above the wreckage of my ship, a jagged husk of metal drifting in the void like some forgotten relic from a bad dream. I was supposed to be dead. Hell, I should have been dead a dozen times over in my line of work. My name's Jace, a smuggler who's dodged more laser fire and interstellar customs agents than I care to count. But this was new. The asteroid storm had come out of nowhere, a swirling maelstrom of rock and ice that shredded the Odyssey like it was made of paper. Engines gone, life support failing, and me tumbling ass over elbows into the black, my suit's HUD screaming at me with every red alert imaginable. Oxygen levels plummeting, temperature dropping, and that annoying little voice in my helmet reminding me, critical failure imminent. Evacuate immediately. Yeah, thanks for the tip, computer, as if I had anywhere to go. I floated there, weightless and wondering if this was how it all ended, not with a bang, but with a slow, freezing whimper. Memories flashed through my mind. That shady deal on Titan where I outran a fleet of corporate enforcers, the bar fight on Mars that left me with this scar above my eye, and the string of bad relationships that always seemed to end with me blasting off into the stars alone. Figures, I muttered to myself, my voice echoing hollow in the helmet. Die out here and no one even knows to miss me. But then, a faint beep cut through the silence, a signal weak but persistent, pinging my comms like a lifeline thrown into the abyss. I squinted through the frost building on my visor and there it was, a ship, sleek and shimmering, emerging from the shadows like a ghost made of starlight. It wasn't human, that much was clear. No clunky thrusters or welded plates, this thing flowed, its hull rippling with colors that danced like auroras on a frozen world. My heart hammered in my chest, not just from the low oxygen making me lightheaded, but from a mix of fear and that stupid thrill I always get when stumbling into the unknown. The ship closed in, a docking beam latching onto me with a gentle tug that felt almost inviting. The airlock cycled, and suddenly I was inside, gravity kicking in just enough to make my knees buckle as I hit the deck. I clawed at my helmet, ripping it off, gulping air that tasted sweet and strange, like wildflowers mixed with the ozone after a lightning storm. The chamber was alive, walls pulsing with soft, bioluminescent light, patterns swirling like they were breathing. It was warm, too warm after the cold void, and I shrugged off my suit jacket, wiping sweat from my brow. That's when I saw her. She stood there like she'd stepped out of a fever dream, tall and regal, her white hair cascading down her back in waves that caught the light and threw it back in prisms. Her skin was pale, almost glowing, and those small, pointed ears, elf-like, twitching ever so slightly, gave her an otherworldly grace. She wore an outfit of soft furs and silken fabrics that hugged her curves in a way that made it hard to look away, the material shifting colors with her movements. Behind her, another figure, younger, with the same white hair braided with glowing gems, her violet eyes wide with a mix of awe and caution. This was Zara, though I didn't know it yet, her presence quieter but no less captivating. "You're human," the first one said, her voice a rich melody that vibrated through the air, wrapping around me like silk. It wasn't accusatory, more like she was stating a fascinating fact. Her eyes, deep violet pools, scanned me from head to toe, lingering just a second too long on my disheveled flight suit. "Fascinating. We rarely encounter your kind in the fringes of Velquar. What brings you to our domain, drifting like a leaf in the cosmic winds?" I pushed myself up, trying to play it cool even as my legs wobbled. Well, gorgeous, if I'd known the welcome committee was this stunning, I might have crashed sooner. I flashed what I hoped was a charming grin, but it probably came off more like a grimace. "Name's Jace, smuggler by trade, survivor by necessity. My ship decided to impersonate Swiss cheese courtesy of those asteroids out there. You wouldn't happen to have a spare engine or two lying around." She tilted her head, those pointed ears flicking in what I guessed was amusement or confusion. "Smuggler, your words are quaint. I am Lyra, sovereign empress of the Auralis Dominion, ruler of Velquar and its sister worlds." She gestured to the younger woman. "This is Zara, my daughter and first princess of the star-woven court." Zara stepped forward slightly, her cheeks flushing a soft lavender as she met my eyes. "Your arrival is untimely, human Jace. Our scanners detected your distress, but we are not in the habit of rescuing strays from the void." "Strays? Ouch." I chuckled, rubbing the back of my neck, and here I thought I was special. "But hey, if you're the Empress, does that mean I get the royal treatment? A hot meal, maybe a bath? I probably smell like recycled air and desperation right now." Zara's eyes widened, and she whispered something to Lyra in a language that sounded like wind through crystal chimes. Lyra's lips curved into a smile, revealing teeth that gleamed like pearls. "My daughter finds your candor. Refreshing. Among our people, such directness is rare. We value subtlety like the dance of stars in alignment. I raised an eyebrow, stepping closer despite myself. The air between us hummed with some unseen energy, and I caught a whiff of her scent, exotic, intoxicating. Subtlety's overrated. Gets you killed in my line of work. But if you're offering subtlety I could learn, teach me. It was a flirt, half joking, but the way Lyra's gaze intensified sent a shiver down my spine. Zara giggled softly, covering her mouth, her ears twitching rapidly. Mother, he speaks as if words are weapons, blunt and unyielding. Is this how all humans court danger? Court, now that was interesting. Lyra's hand reached out, her fingers brushing my arm, light but electric like static from a storm. Perhaps not all, but this one. He has fire in him. Come, Jace, we must assess if you are threat or ally. She led the way down a corridor that unfolded like petals of a flower, the walls shifting to accommodate us. Zara walked beside me, sneaking glances that made my pulse quicken. Your clothing is primitive, she said, her voice shy but curious. Does it not adapt to your form as ours does? I looked down at my worn flight suit, patched and stained. Adapt? Nah, this is vintage Earth tech, holds together with duct tape and prayers, but it gets the job done. I flexed a bit, joking, and Zara's eyes lingered on my arms, her flush deepening. Strong, like the warriors of our legends, yet you jest in the face of peril. Why? Because if you don't laugh, the void wins, I replied, winking. She blinked, puzzled, then smiled, a genuine bright thing that lit up the corridor. Lyra glanced back, her expression a mix of approval and something deeper, more possessive. You intrigue us, Jace. In Velquar, humans are myths, fierce explorers who bend fate to their will. Perhaps the stars have sent you for a reason. The corridor opened into a grand chamber, a blend of throne room and command bridge. Holographic stars swirled overhead, mapping out galaxies with planets like glittering jewels. Thrones of woven light sat at the center, and Lyra ascended hers with effortless grace, Zara taking her place beside. I stood there, feeling underdressed and overwhelmed, but damn if it wasn't exhilarating. So, Empress, I said, crossing my arms. You mentioned assessing me. What's the verdict? Do I get to stay, or is it back to floating? Lyra leaned forward, her fur-trimmed robe slipping just enough to reveal the curve of her shoulder, her skin shimmering under the lights. You amuse me, human, but amusement alone won't suffice. The Auralis Dominion teeters on the brink, shadow fleets from rival empires encroach, seeking to claim our crystal cores, the heart of our power. I could use a man like you, bold, unbound by our traditions. In return, her voice dropped husky. Power beyond your dreams, wealth to rival stars, and perhaps alliances of a more personal nature. My throat went dry, personal, the way she said it, eyes locked on mine. It was clear this wasn't just about politics. Zara shifted, her gaze flicking between us, a hint of jealousy, curiosity. Mother offers much, she murmured. But humans are unpredictable. What if he chooses differently? I swallowed, the air thick with tension. Differently? Like what, princess? Enlighten me. Zara's ears twitched, and she stepped closer, her hand hovering near mine. Like seeing beyond the empire, to the hearts that rule it. Before I could respond, a low rumble shook the ship. Alarms chimed in melodic tones, holograms flickering to show approaching vessels, dark, angular shadows against the stars. Lyra rose, her demeanor shifting to steel. Our pursuers have found us sooner than expected. Jace, if you wish to earn your place, prove it now. Fight with us, and perhaps you'll claim more than an empire. Adrenaline surged. I wasn't just a smuggler anymore. I was in the thick of an alien saga with two women who could upend my world. Grinning, I nodded. Lead the way, ladies. Let's show these bastards what a human can do. The bridge buzzed with activity, alien crew members, similar to Lyra and Zara with their ethereal features, manning consoles that hummed with energy. One of them, a stern-faced male with silver streaks in his white hair, eyed me suspiciously. Empress, is it wise to trust this? Outsider? His kind are known for chaos. Lyra waved him off. Chaos may be what we need, Kale. Prepare the defenses. She turned to me, her hand on my shoulder now, firm and warm. You have weapons, Jace, or do you fight with words alone? I patted my sidearm, a trusty plasma pistol. Words first, bullets second, but yeah, I've got tricks. Zara handed me a device, a sleek gauntlet that glowed when I slipped it on. This will amplify your strength. Use it wisely. Her fingers lingered on mine, a spark jumping between us. As the enemy ships closed in, firing warning shots that rocked the Auralis Eternal, I felt alive in a way I hadn't in years. Lyra commanded with poise, her voice cutting through the chaos, while Zara stayed close, her presence a quiet anchor. This was no ordinary rescue. It was the start of something wild, tangled in empires, desires, and the unyielding spirit of humanity. And me, I was right in the middle, wanting it all, not just the throne, but the women who sat upon it. We braced as the first volley hit, shields flaring. "Hold steady," Lyra shouted. I aimed my pistol through a holographic targeting system, firing back with precision born from too many close calls. The enemy scout exploded in a bloom of fire, and Zara gasped. "Impressive, you fight like a storm." Lyra's eyes met mine amid the turmoil. "Indeed, perhaps you'll teach us more." Later, the battle was just beginning, but in that moment I knew I'd fight for them, for the Empire, for the thrill, and for the promise of what lay beyond the stars. The shields held, but just barely, flaring bright against the onslaught of plasma bolts that lit up the void like angry fireflies. I gripped the console, my knuckles white, as another wave of enemy scouts darted in, their dark hulls twisting through the asteroid field with predatory grace. Lyra's voice cut through the din, calm and commanding, directing her crew with the precision of a maestro. "Redirect power to forward arrays. Zara, monitor the flanks, do not let them encircle us." Zara nodded, her fingers dancing over a holographic panel, her white hair falling like a veil over her focused eyes. But every now and then, her gaze flicked to me, lingering with a heat that made the battle feel secondary. I fired again, the gauntlet Zara had given me humming with energy, amplifying the shot from my pistol into a lance of blue fire that pierced another scout. It bloomed into a silent explosion, debris scattering like confetti in the vacuum. "Got another one," I grunted, sweat beading on my forehead. The adrenaline was a rush, but so was the proximity. Lyra standing close enough that her fur-trimmed robe brushed my arm, her scent mingling with the metallic tang of the bridge. "You're full of surprises, human," she murmured, her breath warm against my ear as she leaned in to adjust a targeting overlay. Her touch was light, deliberate, sending a jolt through me that had nothing to do with the fight. The ship shuddered under a direct hit, alarms singing in that eerie, melodic tone. Kale, the stern advisor, barked orders in their language, his pointed ears pinned back in frustration. "Empress, we must retreat to the nebula, their numbers are too great." But Lyra's violet eyes flashed with defiance. "No, we hold. Jace has already thinned their ranks. Show them the fury of Velquar." Her hand rested on my shoulder now, fingers tracing a subtle pattern that felt like a caress, igniting sparks under my skin. I turned slightly, catching her gaze, intense, hungry, as if the battle were merely a backdrop to something more primal. Zara moved closer on my other side, her body heat a contrast to the cool air of the bridge. "You're adapting quickly," she whispered, her voice laced with admiration. Her small hand brushed mine as she pointed to an incoming threat on the display, and I felt the softness of her skin, the faint tremble that spoke of excitement or fear, or perhaps desire. "Humans are resilient, but you fight like you've been waiting for this." Her ears twitched, and up close, I could see the delicate veins glowing faintly under her pale skin, her curves accentuated by the tight weave of her outfit. The way she looked at me, wide-eyed yet bold, stirred something deep, a tension that coiled tighter with every blast. Another volley rocked us, and I stumbled, catching myself against Zara. Our bodies pressed together for a heartbeat, her softness against my chest, her breath quickening. "Sorry," I muttered, but she didn't pull away immediately, her hand lingering on my arm. "No need," she replied softly, her cheeks flushing that soft lavender again. Lyra watched us, her smile enigmatic as if she approved of the spark. "Focus, both of you," she said, but there was no reprimand in her tone, only a sultry undertone that promised rewards for victory. The enemy pressed harder, their lead cruiser emerging from the asteroids, a behemoth of spiked armor and glowing cannons. It fired a beam that grazed our shields, energy crackling across the hull. "They're charging for a full assault," Kale warned. Lyra's expression hardened, but she turned to me, her body shifting closer, her hip brushing mine in a way that felt intentional. "Jace, we need a diversion. Your unorthodox methods might be our edge." Her fingers trailed down my back, light as a feather, sending shivers racing. It was distracting, intoxicating. Amid the chaos, the way her presence demanded attention, her curves a silhouette against the flashing lights. I nodded, mind racing. "Got it, patch me into the comms. I can hack their targeting with a human trick." Zara helped, her hands guiding mine over the controls, our fingers intertwining briefly. Her touch was electric, her proximity making it hard to concentrate. "Like this," she breathed, leaning in so her white hair tickled my neck. Her scent, sweeter than her mother's, like fresh rain on exotic blooms, enveloping me. The erotic charge was undeniable, the battle's suspense heightening every sensation, every glance. With a few overrides, old smuggler codes I'd picked up in shady ports, I broadcast a virus into their systems, scrambling their locks. The cruiser veered, firing wildly into the void. "It's working!" Zara exclaimed, her body pressing against mine in excitement, her curves molding to me for a moment that stretched too long. Lyra's hand squeezed my shoulder, her nails grazing lightly, a promise in the pressure. "Well done, Jace, you may yet claim your place among us." But the victory was short-lived. The cruiser corrected, unleashing a barrage that breached our shields in a section. Alarms blared louder, red lights pulsing. "Hull integrity compromised," Kale shouted. Lyra moved swiftly, sealing off sections, but a squad of enemy boarders teleported in, shadowy figures in armored suits, weapons humming. "Intruders on Deck 3, a crew member reported." Lyra's eyes met mine. "Jace with me, Zara, stay and coordinate." Zara protested, "Mother, I can fight," but Lyra silenced her with a look. "Protect the bridge." Then, to me, her voice low and urgent, "Come, let's repel them together." We dashed through corridors that twisted like living veins, the ship groaning under strain. Lyra's pace was fluid, her robe flowing, revealing glimpses of her toned legs, her body a weapon in itself. "You handle yourself well in combat," she said over her shoulder, her tone teasing. "I wonder how you fare in other engagements." I smirked despite the danger. "Care to find out after we win?" She laughed, a sound like velvet, glancing back with eyes that smoldered. Bold as ever, I like that in a consort. We reached the breach where boarders, hulking aliens with scaled skin and glowing visors, were cutting through a bulkhead. Lyra drew an elegant blade that hummed with energy, her stance predatory. I raised my pistol, gauntlet charging. The first enemy lunged, and I dodged, firing point blank, the shot exploding its helmet. Lyra moved like a dancer, her blade slicing through armor with ease, her body twisting in ways that highlighted her grace and strength. Sweat glistened on her pale skin, her hair whipping wildly, and in the heat of battle, her robe loosened slightly, offering tantalizing views that fueled my focus. One boarder grabbed her from behind, and I tackled it, wrestling it to the ground. We rolled, my hands pinning its arms, until Lyra's blade finished it. She helped me up, her body flush against mine, breathing heavy. "You saved me," she whispered, her lips inches from mine, violet eyes dark with intensity. The air crackled, the suspense of the fight mingling with an erotic pull, her curves pressing, her scent overwhelming. For a moment the battle faded, and I almost leaned in, but another enemy charged. We fought back to back, our movements syncing instinctively. Her hip bumped mine, a deliberate grind that sent heat surging. "Feel that rhythm," she murmured between strikes. "It's like a dance, intimate, fierce." I parried a blow, countering with a punch amplified by the gauntlet, shattering armor. "Yeah, then let's make it unforgettable." More boarders poured in, but we held the line, her blade and my shots a deadly duet. Blood, theirs, thick and green, splattered the walls, the close quarters amplifying every brush, every touch. Lyra's hand grazed my thigh as she spun, a caress disguised as combat, her ears twitching with exertion or arousal. The erotic tension built with the suspense, each near miss heightening the desire, the promise of what victory might bring. Finally, the last one fell, and we stood panting amid the wreckage. Lyra turned to me, her robe disheveled, exposing more of her glowing skin, her chest rising and falling. "You fight magnificently," she said, stepping closer, her body heat radiating. Her fingers traced my jaw, electric. "Perhaps it's time to explore other battles, ones without weapons." Before I could respond, Zara's voice echoed through the comms. "Mother Jace, the cruiser is retreating, but scans show reinforcements inbound. We need you back." Lyra's eyes held mine, a sultry promise lingering. "To be continued," she whispered, her lips brushing my ear. We hurried back, the corridor lights dimming to conserve power, our strides in sync. Zara met us at the bridge door, her eyes widening at our disheveled state. "Are you hurt?" she asked, her hand reaching for me, fingers lingering on my chest. "Just scratches," I assured, but her touch was soft, probing, sending another wave of heat. Lyra watched, amused. "He's proven his worth, daughter. Now let's prepare for the next wave." The bridge hummed with renewed energy, but the air was thick with unspoken desires. As we plotted our escape into the nebula, Zara stayed close, her knee brushing mine under the console, while Lyra's gaze promised depths unexplored. The suspense hung heavy, the battle far from over, and the erotic web tightening around us all. Deep in the nebula's swirling gases, the ship cloaked, temporary safety allowing breaths to slow. Lyra ordered stand down, her crew dispersing. "Jace, join us in my quarters. We must debrief." Her tone left no doubt it was more than strategy. Zara nodded, her flush returning. "Yes, come, there's much to discuss." The quarters were opulent, walls like starlit silk, a large viewport showing the nebula's hypnotic swirls. Lyra poured a glowing liquid into crystal glasses, handing one to me. To survival, she toasted, her eyes locking on mine as she sipped, lips glistening. Zara sat nearby, her outfit clinging from the earlier tension, her posture inviting. As we talked tactics, the conversation drifted, Lyra's foot nudging mine under the table, Zara's hand on my arm as she explained a map. The erotic charge built, suspenseful in its slowness, each touch a promise amid the lingering threat outside. The glowing liquid in the glass warmed my throat as it went down, a subtle fire that spread through my veins, loosening the knots of battle. Lyra's quarters felt like a sanctuary amid the storm, the nebula's colors swirling outside the viewport in hypnotic patterns of purple and gold, casting shifting shadows across the room. She set her glass down with a soft clink, her violet eyes never leaving mine, while Zara sipped hers more tentatively, her gaze darting between us with a mix of anticipation and something deeper, unspoken. The air hummed with the ship's low thrum, but beneath it lay a charged silence, pregnant with the weight of what had just transpired and what might come next. "Jace," Lyra began, her voice a silken thread pulling me closer, "your actions today have shifted the tides. The shadow fleets of Zara have long hungered for our crystal cores, but you've given us a fighting chance." She leaned forward, her white hair cascading over one shoulder, the fur of her robe framing the elegant curve of her neck. Her pointed ears twitched slightly, as if attuned to some hidden frequency. Zara nodded, her own hair shimmering under the soft lights, her pale skin flushed from the drink or the moment. "Yes," she added, her tone softer, almost breathless. "You saved Mother, saved us all. But how? Your methods, they're so raw, so human." I set my glass down, feeling the warmth build not just from the liquid but from their proximity. Lyra's foot nudged mine again under the low table, a deliberate press that sent a thrill up my leg, while Zara's hand rested lightly on my forearm, her fingers tracing idle patterns that felt anything but idle. "Raw? I'll take that as a compliment," I replied, my voice steady despite the racing pulse. Back home, we learned to improvise. No fancy energy blades or adaptive suits, just grit and whatever's at hand. Lyra's smile deepened, mysterious and inviting, as she rose gracefully, moving to a console embedded in the wall. With a wave of her hand, a holographic map materialized, displaying the nebula's depths and the faint signatures of pursuing ships. "Grit," she echoed, turning back to us. "It's intoxicating. But the Zavaran reinforcements are closing in. We must decide our next move, strike at their heart or evade and regroup." The map pulsed with red icons, the enemy formations weaving through the gas clouds like predators on the hunt. Zara stood too, her body brushing mine as she joined her mother, her curves accentuated in the dim light. "Evade," she suggested, her voice firm yet laced with worry. "We can't risk the eternal in open combat yet." Lyra glanced at her, then at me, her expression turning dramatic, eyes widening with feigned surprise. "And you, Jace, what does the human hero propose?" Her tone was teasing, but the stakes felt real, the room's intimacy clashing with the looming threat outside. Before I could answer, a sudden jolt rocked the ship, the viewport flickering as energy discharges lit the nebula. Alarms wailed anew, dramatic and piercing, shattering the fragile peace. "They're here," Zara gasped, her hand clutching my arm tighter. Lyra's face hardened into a mask of regal fury, her pointed ears flattening as she barked into a comm device. "All hands to stations. Shields to maximum." The thrill surged back, my blood pounding as we rushed from the quarters, the erotic haze giving way to the climax of survival. Corridors blurred past, crew members scrambling, their ethereal features twisted in determination. We burst onto the bridge where Kale spun toward us, his face pale. "Empress, they've pierced the nebula's veil, a full armada led by their dreadnought. It's the Shadow Sovereign himself." The main viewer showed it, a colossal vessel, black as the void, bristling with weapons that dwarfed our own. Lyra's breath caught, a rare crack in her composure. "Draven, my brother, exiled, twisted by ambition. He seeks not just our cores, but the throne." The revelation hit like a thunderclap, curious and surprising, unveiling layers of betrayal I hadn't imagined. Zara's eyes widened in shock. "Uncle Draven, but he was banished eons ago." The dreadnought hailed us, a holographic figure materializing, a male alien, similar in features to Lyra but darker, his white hair streaked with obsidian, eyes burning crimson. "Sister," he sneered, his voice echoing like grinding metal. "You've hidden long enough. Surrender the human interloper, he's the key to our prophecies, or watch your precious dominion crumble." The thrill intensified, my mind racing. "Prophecies, me?" Lyra stepped forward, her presence dramatic, chin lifted defiantly. Never, Draven. The human is under my protection. Your shadows end here. The battle erupted in a frenzy, the climax building with heart-pounding intensity. The dreadnought unleashed a barrage, our shields buckling under the assault. Evasive maneuvers, Lyra commanded, her robe swirling as she gripped the throne. I manned a console, fingers flying, hacking into their comms again. But this time, resistance met me, a digital wall fortified by Zara and tech. Zara worked beside me, her body tense, our shoulders touching in the chaos. Jace, link your gauntlet to the array, it might boost the signal, she urged, her voice thrilling with urgency. I did, energy surging, and suddenly their shields flickered, a surprising vulnerability exposed. But Draven anticipated, countering with a tractor beam that latched onto us, dragging the Eternal closer. Feel the pull of fate, sister, he taunted. The ship groaned, metal straining as we hurtled toward doom. Curious questions swirled. Why me? What prophecy? The drama peaked as Lyra turned to me, her eyes fierce yet vulnerable. Jace, the core chamber, go, activate the crystal nexus, it's our only chance. Zara protested, Mother, it's too dangerous, but Lyra silenced her with a kiss on the forehead. Go with him, daughter, protect each other. We dashed through shaking corridors, the ship tilting wildly. Explosions rocked nearby, debris flying. Zara's hand in mine, we navigated the turmoil, her grip tight and reassuring. The nexus holds our empire's power, she explained breathlessly, her white hair disheveled, ears twitching with every boom. But activating it without ritual. It's forbidden, thrillingly so. We reached the chamber, a vast dome glowing with crystalline structures, pulsing like a heartbeat. At its center, a massive crystal thrummed, energy arcing wildly. Draven's forces breached again, borders materializing in shadows. For the Sovereign, one roared, charging. The fight was visceral, thrilling, me against scaled warriors, my gauntlet crackling as I punched through armor, Zara wielding an energy staff with graceful fury, her movements a dance of destruction. One grabbed her and I lunged, tackling it, our bodies tumbling. Jace, she cried, helping me up, her face inches from mine, eyes alight with surprise. You're incredible. But the real climax loomed. Draven himself teleported in, blade drawn. The human, you carry the mark of the stars, the one foretold to unite or destroy. His revelation stunned me, a tattoo on my arm from a drunken night on Earth, glowing now with alien light. Curious and surprising, it pulsed in sync with the crystal. What the hell? I muttered. Zara gasped. The prophecy, you're the bridge between worlds. Draven swung and the duel began, dramatic clashes of blade and fist, the chamber shaking. Lyra's voice echoed via comms, hold them, reinforcements incoming. But Draven pressed, his strength overwhelming. Join me, human, rule as my ally. Temptation flickered, but Zara's plea cut through. Jace, don't we need you? I need you. In a thrilling twist, I channeled the gauntlet into the crystal, energy exploding outward. Draven staggered, surprised, as arcs lashed him. Impossible, he bellowed. Zara joined, her hand on mine, amplifying the surge. The nexus roared, a wave of light engulfing the boarders, repelling them back to their ship. The dreadnought reeled, shields collapsing. Lyra's command rang, fire all. Our weapons unleashed, tearing into the beast. Draven's hologram flickered one last time. This isn't over. The prophecy awakens. His ship retreated, vanishing into the nebula. Panting, Zara and I collapsed against the crystal, her body close, the thrill ebbing into relief. You did it, she whispered, her lips brushing my cheek in a surprising, tender moment. Lyra arrived, embracing us both. The Empire endures thanks to you, Jace, but Draven's words, the prophecy, what secrets do you hold? The questions hung, curious and dramatic, as the ship stabilized. The climax passed, but the surprises lingered, binding us tighter in the web of fate and desire. Lyra's embrace lingered a moment longer than necessary, her arms enveloping both Zara and me in a cocoon of warmth that contrasted sharply with the cooling energy arcs still flickering around the crystal nexus. The chamber's glow began to dim, the massive crystal at its heart settling into a steady pulse, as if the ship itself was catching its breath after the storm. Zara pulled back slightly, her violet eyes searching mine with intensity that made my heart skip, while Lyra's hand slid down my back, resting at the small of it with a possessive firmness. Secrets indeed, Lyra murmured, her voice a dramatic whisper that echoed off the crystalline walls. That mark on your arm, it's no mere ink. It resonates with our ancient lore, the Starbridge prophecy. A human bearer who could either forge unbreakable alliances or shatter empires. I stared at the tattoo on my forearm, the simple swirl of lines I'd gotten during a wild night on a backwater station, now glowing faintly with an otherworldly light. It pulsed in time with the nexus, and I couldn't help but let out a nervous laugh, rubbing it as if that might make it stop. It's just a dumb souvenir from a bet I lost. Or one? Hell, I don't even remember. Prophecy? Come on, ladies, you're pulling my leg. But the drama in their expressions told me otherwise. Lyra's brows furrowed in regal concern, Zara's pointed ears drooping slightly in awe or fear. The air grew thick with unspoken implications, the weight of an entire dominion suddenly hinging on my drunken decision years ago. Zara reached out, her fingers tracing the glowing lines tentatively, her touch sending a shiver up my arm that had nothing to do with the cold. It's real, Jace. The prophecy speaks of an outsider marked by the stars, drawn to our realm in a time of shadow. You're it. Her voice cracked with emotion, heightening the drama as tears welled in her eyes, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming fate unfolding. Lyra nodded solemnly, stepping back to regard me like a puzzle piece finally fitting into place. Draven knows this too. That's why he hunts you. If he claims the bearer, he claims legitimacy to overthrow me. The Nexus chamber felt smaller now, the dramatic revelations closing in like the nebula's gases outside. I shifted uncomfortably, the gauntlet still humming on my wrist, and tried to lighten the mood with a grin. So, what, I'm some cosmic chosen one? Does that come with perks, like unlimited drinks or a fancy title? Jace, Lord of Bad Tattoos? Zara blinked, confused at first, then giggled, covering her mouth as her ears perked up. Lyra's lips twitched, but she maintained her Empress poise. Humor in the face of destiny. How very human. But this is no jest, Jace. We must consult the archives, uncover the full prophecy before Draven strikes again. We made our way back to the bridge, the corridors still scarred from the boarding, wisps of smoke curling from damaged panels. Crew members bowed as Lyra passed, their whispers buzzing like static, news of the prophecy spreading faster than light. Kale met us at the door, his stern face even more pinched. Empress, the dreadnought has withdrawn, but scouts linger at the nebula's edge, and rumors circulate about the human. Lyra waved him off with a dramatic flourish. Let them circulate. Jace is our ally, our hope. But as we entered, I caught the crew's stares, curious, wary, some even envious. Awkward didn't begin to cover it. I felt like an exhibit in a zoo, especially when one young crew member, a female with braided white hair, approached hesitantly. Bearer, she said, bowing low, may the stars bless your mark. I scratched my head, chuckling awkwardly. Thanks, but seriously, it's just a tattoo. No blessings needed, maybe some ointment if it keeps glowing like this. Zara stifled a laugh, linking her arm with mine in a gesture that felt both supportive and intimate. Her body heat seeping through my suit. Lyra noticed, her eyes narrowing slightly in what might have been jealousy or amusement, adding to the dramatic tension simmering between us. Settling into the command throne, Lyra activated a holographic archive, ancient texts scrolling in luminous script. Zara and I stood close, her hip brushing mine as she leaned in to translate. Here, she pointed, her finger hovering over a passage. The bearer shall arrive amid chaos, binding hearts and thrones, or severing them. The words hung heavy, heightening the drama as implications dawned, binding hearts. My gaze flicked between mother and daughter, the awkward pull of attraction now laced with prophetic weight. Binding hearts, huh? Sounds like a bad romance novel. Does it specify how many hearts, or? Lyra turned, her expression a mix of sternness and sultry intrigue. The prophecy is vague, as such things are, but it hints at unions beyond politics, intimate alliances to seal fates. She rose, approaching us with purposeful steps, her robe swaying to reveal glimpses of her pale, curving form. Zara flushed, her hand tightening on my arm, creating an awkward triangle of tension. I swallowed, trying to joke my way out. Unions? Like marriage? Whoa, slow down, I haven't even bought you dinner yet. Or is that an alien custom, skipping straight to empire sharing? Zara's laugh bubbled out, light and genuine, cutting through the drama. Human customs are so quaint. In Velquar, alliances are sealed with a ritual dance under the crystals. But her cheeks burned lavender, and Lyra's smile turned predatory. Perhaps we should demonstrate to see if the prophecy aligns. The suggestion hung there, dramatic and charged. As the bridge crew pretended not to listen, their ears twitching with poorly hidden curiosity. Before I could respond, another alarm blared, not battle, but a system alert. Incoming transmission, Kale announced. From Draven, encrypted but personal. Lyra's face paled, the drama escalating as she accepted it. Draven's hologram flickered to life, his crimson eyes gleaming. Sister, niece, and the bearer, how cozy. I offer terms, surrendered Jace, and I'll spare your fleeting rule. His voice dripped venom, heightening the stakes. Zara stepped forward defiantly. Never, uncle, he's ours now. The possessiveness in her tone made me blink, awkward heat rising. Draven laughed a chilling sound. Ours, how touching, but the prophecy favors the strong. Jace, consider, with me no divided loyalties, just power. The hologram lingered on my tattoo, now pulsing brighter. I shot back, power, buddy. I've seen your decorating, all spikes and shadows, not my style. I'll stick with the ladies who don't want to dissect me. Humor laced my words, but the drama peaked as Draven's image snarled. Fool, then face the consequences. The transmission cut, leaving silence. Lyra whirled, her robe flaring dramatically. We must fortify. But first, the ritual to test the prophecy's bond. She led us to a secluded alcove off the bridge, a chamber with floating crystals that hummed softly. Zara followed, her hand still on mine, the awkward intimacy building. The dance, Lyra explained, involves touch, synchronization, intimacy. Her hands guided mine to her waist, Zara mirroring on the other side. I stood there, sandwiched between them, heart pounding. I'm not much of a dancer. 2 left feet, remember? They moved, fluid and graceful, pulling me into a rhythm that felt both alien and instinctive. Lyra's body pressed close, her curves molding against me, while Zara's softer form complemented from behind. The drama intensified with each step, the crystals glowing brighter, responding to our sync, but awkwardness hit when I stumbled, nearly toppling us all. Whoops! Sorry, Empress, didn't mean to step on your royal toes. Zara burst into laughter, collapsing against me while Lyra chuckled, her composure cracking. Human clumsiness, endearing in its way. As we steadied, the crystals flared, projecting visions, glimpses of united empires, passionate embraces, but also shadows of betrayal. The prophecy's dual nature heightened the drama, salvation or doom. Zara's eyes met mine over Lyra's shoulder, filled with longing and fear. It feels right, she whispered. Lyra nodded, her breath hot on my neck. But danger looms. Draven will strike soon. An urgent comm from Kale interrupted. Empress, Zoveran probes inbound, cloaked but closing fast. The alcove's peace shattered, thrusting us back into action. We rushed to the bridge, the awkward afterglow of the dance lingering in flushed cheeks and stolen glances. Battle stations, Lyra commanded, her voice steady despite the chaos. I grabbed my pistol, gauntlet charging, humor my shield. Round 2, great, I was just getting warmed up. Hope Draven brought his dancing shoes. The probes attacked, small but vicious, darting like insects. Lasers scorched the hull as we evaded, the drama of pursuit unfolding. One probe latched on, drilling in. Boarding imminent, Kale warned. Lyra turned to me. Jace with Zara, secure the nexus again. I'll hold the bridge. Zara and I dashed off, her hand in mine once more. Think the prophecy covers pest control? I quipped, earning her smile amid the tension. In the nexus, the probe breached, spilling microdrones that swarmed like angry bees. We fought back to back, my shots blasting clusters, Zara's staff whipping through the air. One drone latched onto my tattoo, shocking me with energy that made it flare painfully. Oh, damn thing's got a grudge. Zara zapped it off, her concern dramatic. Jace, are you all right? I nodded, rubbing the mark. Yeah, but if this prophecy gig comes with health insurance, sign me up. The drones overwhelmed momentarily, one pinning Zara. I dove, tackling it, our bodies rolling in a tangle of limbs, awkward, intimate, her curves pressed against me in the fray. Gotcha, I muttered, blasting the drone. She looked up, eyes sparkling. My hero, again. The moment stretched, humorous in its timing, until more drones surged. Channeling the gauntlet, I unleashed a pulse that fried them all, the nexus stabilizing. Breathless, we leaned against each other. That was close, Zara said, her hand on my chest. Back on the bridge, Lyra greeted us with relief. The probes are gone, but Draven's armada approaches. The prophecy's test deepens. As we prepared, the awkward dance's visions replayed in my mind, unions, hearts bound. Drama swirled with the nebula, humor my anchor, as fate pulled us toward an uncertain horizon. As the echoes of the probe attack faded into the ship's steady hum, the bridge settled into a tense vigilance, holographic displays flickering with the distant blips of Draven's approaching armada. Lyra stood at the center, her white hair slightly tousled from the earlier chaos, her violet eyes scanning the readouts with unyielding focus. Zara lingered nearby, her hand still resting lightly on my arm from our hurried return, her touch a lingering reminder of the closeness we'd shared in the Nexus chamber. The crew moved with quiet efficiency, repairing minor damages and recalibrating systems, but the air was thick with anticipation, the prophecy's weight pressing down like the nebula's swirling mists outside. Jace, Lyra said softly, turning to me with a gaze that softened the edges of her Empress demeanor, the Armada won't reach us for hours yet. We have a brief respite. The ritual we began earlier. It must be completed to fully awaken the prophecy's power. Only then can we harness the crystal nexus against Draven. Her words carried a deeper invitation, her pointed ears twitching subtly as she stepped closer, the fur of her robe brushing against my side. Zara nodded, her cheeks flushing that familiar lavender, her body shifting nearer until I felt the warmth radiating from both of them, a magnetic pull that made my pulse quicken. I glanced between them, the drama of the moment blending with an undeniable spark. The ritual, you mean the dance, and whatever comes after. My voice came out huskier than intended, the humor from before giving way to something more intense. Lyra's smile was knowing, her hand reaching out to trace a gentle line along my jaw, sending a shiver through me. Precisely. In Velquar, such bonds are sacred, deepening connections that strengthen our resolve. Come with us to my private sanctum. There we can explore this union. Zara's fingers intertwined with mine, her grip firm yet tender, as we followed Lyra through a hidden passage that opened at her touch, leading to a chamber bathed in soft, ethereal light. The room was a haven of luxury. Silken cushions scattered across a floor that mimicked a starry expanse, crystals embedded in the walls pulsing gently like a heartbeat. The viewport here showed the nebula in all its glory, colors dancing in hypnotic patterns that mirrored the rising tension within me. As the door sealed behind us, the outside world, the Armada, prophecy faded, leaving only the three of us in this intimate space. Lyra moved first, her robe slipping from her shoulders with graceful ease, revealing the smooth, pale curves beneath, clad in a sheer fabric that clung like a second skin. Her body was a vision of elegant strength, every movement fluid and inviting. The ritual requires vulnerability, she explained, her voice a low murmur that wrapped around me. To share essence, to blend energies. Zara followed suit, her own garment falling away, her form softer, more youthful, yet equally captivating, her white hair cascading freely as she stepped closer, her violet eyes locked on mine with a mix of shyness and desire. I felt a rush of heat, my human instincts surging as I shed my flight suit, standing before them in the dim glow. The awkwardness from the dance earlier dissolved into something profound, a shared curiosity that bridged our worlds. "You're both incredible," I whispered, reaching out to pull Lyra into an embrace, her skin warm and silky against mine. Our lips met in a kiss that started slow, exploratory, building into a passionate exchange where her taste, sweet like stardust, ignited a fire within. Her hands roamed my back, tracing muscles honed from years of survival, while Zara watched for a moment, her breath quickening before joining us. Zara's touch was gentler, her fingers gliding along my arm, up to my shoulders, as she pressed against my side. "Let me feel what Mother does," she murmured, her lips brushing my neck in a trail of soft kisses that sent waves of sensation coursing through me. The three of us moved together, a tangle of limbs and whispers, guided by instinct and the ritual's ancient pull. Lyra's body molded to mine, her curves fitting perfectly as we sank onto the cushions, the nebula's light casting shimmering patterns across our skin. I explored her with reverent hands, feeling the rise and fall of her chest, the subtle tremble that spoke of her own building need. Zara nestled beside us, her form intertwining, her kisses alternating between Lyra and me, creating a symphony of shared intimacy. The air grew warmer, filled with soft sighs and the rhythmic pulse of the crystals, amplifying every touch, every caress. I lost myself in the sensation, their pale skin glowing under my fingers, the way Lyra's hips arched in response, Zara's quiet moans blending with the ship's distant hum. It was a dance of bodies now, more profound than before, where human passion met alien grace in a harmonious blend. Time stretched, the respite allowing us to delve deeper, exploring each other's desires with a tenderness that heightened every moment. Lyra's legs wrapped around me, drawing me closer, her violet eyes half-lidded with pleasure as we moved in unison, the connection building to an exquisite peak. Zara's hands were everywhere, adding to the intensity, her own body responding with eager warmth. The ritual's energy surged, the crystals brightening as our essences intertwined, a wave of ecstasy washing over us in shared release that left us breathless, entangled in a heap of limbs and satisfied smiles. As we lay there, recovering in the afterglow, Lyra's head rested on my chest, her white hair splayed like a halo. "The bond is sealed," she whispered, her voice laced with contentment. "I feel the prophecy's power stirring within." Zara curled against my other side, her fingers tracing lazy patterns on my skin, her ears twitching contentedly. "It's beautiful, Jace, you've brought us closer, in ways I never imagined." The intimacy lingered, a cocoon of warmth amid the stars, but the ship's comms chimed softly, a reminder of the world beyond. Kale's voice filtered through, respectful but urgent. Empress, the Armada's advance has slowed. They're scanning the nebula. We have more time, but preparations continue. Lyra sighed, pressing a final kiss to my lips before rising, her form graceful even in repose. We must return soon, but this moment, it strengthens us for what's ahead. Zara nodded, her hand lingering on mine as we dressed, the shared experience forging a deeper alliance, one that blended hearts and fates. Back on the bridge, the crew's glances were knowing, perhaps sensing the shift in our energies, but no words were spoken. The holographic displays showed Draven's forces probing cautiously, the respite holding. Lyra took her throne, her poise unbreakable, while Zara stood by my side, our fingers brushing discreetly. The ritual worked, she murmured. I feel stronger, connected. I nodded, the warmth still lingering in my veins, fueling my resolve. As we plotted countermeasures, the prophecy's visions replayed in my mind, unions that could save or doom. But in that intimate sanctum, we'd chosen unity, a human touch igniting alien passions. The Armada loomed, but so did our bond, a secret weapon wrapped in desire. The hours ticked by, strategies unfolding, but the memory of our shared intimacy pulsed like the Nexus itself. Lyra occasionally met my eyes with a sultry glance, Zara's touches more confident. When a minor alert sounded, a stray probe, I handled it with renewed vigor, the gauntlet responding sharper, as if infused with our combined essence. In a quiet moment, Lyra pulled me aside to alcove. The ritual's effects, they're profound, she said, her body leaning into mine, reigniting sparks. We may need to reinforce it later. Her kiss was brief but promising, leaving me yearning. Zara joined, her embrace equally warm. Together, we're unstoppable, she whispered. The drama of the impending battle heightened, but so did our intimacy, weaving through every interaction. As Draven's Armada drew nearer, our preparations intensified, the bond from the sanctum fueling our determination. The stars outside seemed to approve, twinkling in rhythm with our united hearts. Yet beneath the surface, questions lingered. Would this union truly turn the tide? The prophecy's dual nature whispered doubts, but in the afterglow of our connection, hope burned brighter. We stood ready, bodies and souls entwined, facing the shadows as one. The stars outside the viewport twinkled with a deceptive calm, their light filtering through the nebula's veils as if mocking the storm brewing on the horizon. Draven's Armada hung like a shadow in the distance, their formations tightening on the holographic displays, but the bond from our intimate ritual pulsed through me like a second heartbeat, sharpening my focus and weaving an unbreakable thread between Lyra, Zara, and myself. Lyra paced the bridge with her usual grace, her white hair catching the console lights, while Zara stood close, her hand occasionally brushing mine in silent reassurance. The crew worked diligently, their pointed ears attuned to every system beep, but there was a newfound energy in the air, a subtle hum from the crystal nexus below, responding to our unified essence. Jace, Lyra said, stopping before me with a gaze that held both command and affection, the ritual has amplified the nexus. Feel it, the power surge is stronger now. With this, we can repel Draven's forces. Her fingers grazed my tattoo, which still glowed faintly, a reminder of the prophecy's grip. Zara nodded, her violet eyes shining with confidence. Yes, together we're invincible. The visions showed unity prevailing. I squeezed her hand, the warmth from our shared moments lingering, fueling my determination. Then let's hit them hard. No more running. Kale approached, his stern face etched with concern as he adjusted a readout. Empress, the Armada is deploying fighters, small waves probing our defenses. We should activate the Nexus shield now. Lyra agreed with a nod, and as the order went out, the ship vibrated gently, a protective aura enveloping us like an invisible cloak. The first fighters darted in, lasers flashing, but our enhanced shields absorbed the hits, retaliating with precision beams that scattered them. Cheers erupted from the crew, the thrill of our bolstered power evident. Zara leaned into me, her body warm against my side. See, the bond works wonders. But as the skirmish intensified, a strange sensation stirred within me, a faint itch at the back of my mind like a whisper I couldn't quite hear. The tattoo on my arm warmed, pulsing in rhythm with the nexus, and flashes of unfamiliar images flickered in my thoughts. Vast crystal halls, echoing laughter, a younger Lyra. I shook it off, focusing on the console, directing fire at an incoming squadron. Incoming at Sector 5, lock and fire. The shots connected, explosions blooming silently in the void. Lyra's voice rang out, praising the crew, her presence a steady anchor. Zara noticed my distraction, her hand on my shoulder. Jace, you seem distant. I forced a smile. Just the adrenaline, let's keep pushing. But the whispers grew, morphing into fragmented memories that weren't mine, or were they? A child running through alien gardens, a brother's betrayal. The Nexus hummed louder, and suddenly the holographic archive we'd consulted earlier reactivated unbidden, projecting ancient texts across the bridge. The crew gasped, Lyra whirling in surprise. What's this? The prophecy awakens further. The text scrolled rapidly, symbols aligning in new patterns, and a voice, not mechanical but ethereal, emanated from the Nexus core, echoing through the speakers. The bearer returns, the lost son of Velquar. The words hung in the air, a powerful twist that froze everyone in place. My heart slammed against my ribs as the images flooded in fully now, me, not as Jace the smuggler, but as a boy with pale skin and pointed ears, playing in the Auralis palaces. Lyra's face drained of color, her violet eyes widening in shock. It can't be. Ilaren? Zara stepped back, her hand covering her mouth, ears flattening in disbelief. Ilaren, mother's lost child, but he's human. The voice continued, unraveling the surprise like a unraveling thread. Abducted in infancy by Zavaran agents, altered to appear human, seeded into the void to disrupt the lineage. The mark, the tattoo, is the suppressed seal of royalty, now awakened by the ritual's bond. The bridge fell silent, the ongoing battle outside forgotten for a moment as automated defenses held the line. I staggered, gripping the console, the twist hitting like a plasma blast. This isn't possible. I'm human, born on Earth, raised in the colonies, my parents. But the memories cascaded. Fake implants, fabricated life, all to hide my origins. Draven's earlier taunts made sense now. He hadn't been hunting a random human. He'd been seeking his nephew, the rightful heir, twisted by his own schemes. Lyra approached slowly, tears glistening in her eyes, her regal poise cracking under the weight of revelation. Ilaren, my son, stolen from me during the exile wars. I searched the stars for you. Her hand trembled as she touched my face, tracing features she now recognized beneath the human facade. The subtle point to my ears I'd always dismissed as a birth defect. The pale skin I'd attributed to low-grav living. Zara's expression shifted from shock to a complex swirl of emotions. Joy, confusion, a hint of awkward reevaluation of our intimacy. Brother, but the ritual, Her voice trailed off, the surprise deepening the twist, complicating our bond in ways none of us could have foreseen. I pulled away slightly, mind reeling. If this is true, then Draven? He's my uncle too. And the prophecy, I'm the bridge, but also the potential destroyer. The ethereal voice affirmed. The lost prince must choose, reclaim the throne with light or shadow, unity or division. The drama escalated as incoming fire rocked the ship harder, fighters exploiting a momentary shield fluctuation caused by the Nexus's surge. Kale snapped us back. Empress, the armada advances, we must respond. But Lyra's focus remained on me, her son returned in the most surprising guise. Ilaren, Jace, you are of us. The ritual. It was fate's design, awakening your true self. Zara reached out tentatively, her touch now sisterly yet conflicted. We've shared so much. But this changes everything and nothing, your family. My head spun with the powerful revelation, the twist reshaping my identity from smuggler to alien prince. Flashes of suppressed memories surfaced, Draven's face in nightmares, Lyra's lullabies echoing faintly. Why hide this? Why make me human? Voice explained. Draven's plot to infiltrate and claim the throne through a puppet heir. But the bond has broken the seals, restoring your essence. As if on cue, my skin tingled, the human alterations fading subtly, ears sharpening to points, vision enhancing to see the nebula's hidden currents. The battle raged on, but the internal storm was fiercer. Draven hailed us, his hologram appearing amid the chaos. Ah, the truth emerges. Nephew, join your true family. The shadows offer power unbound. His crimson eyes gleamed with triumph, the surprise twist playing into his hands, or so he thought. Lyra stood defiant. He's home now, brother. Your schemes end here. Zara, my sister, stood by my side, her loyalty unwavering despite the reevaluation. I faced the hologram, the twist fueling a surge of resolve. Uncle, you've messed with the wrong family. I'm choosing light. With that, I channeled the Nexus through my awakened mark, a beam lancing out to disrupt the Armada's lead ships. Explosions lit the void, the surprise shifting the tide, but Draven laughed. The choice isn't made yet. The prophecy demands a trial. As fighters closed in, boarding pods launching, the revelation's impact rippled through the crew, whispers of the lost prince spreading hope. Lyra embraced me fully now, mother and son reunited in the heat of battle. Fight with us, my son, reclaim what was stolen. Zara added, her voice steady, brother or not, our bond holds. Let's end this. We repelled borders in the corridors, my enhanced abilities, faster reflexes, intuitive energy manipulation, turning the fight. One Zavaran warrior lunged, but I disarmed him with a Nexus-infused punch, the twist empowering me beyond human limits. Zara fought beside me, our synchronization flawless, the ritual's intimacy evolving into familial synergy. "You're amazing," she said, dodging a blast. "Prince or smuggler, you're ours." Back on the bridge, Lyra coordinated the counterattack, her pride evident, but the armada pressed, Draven's dreadnought looming. "Prepare for the final push," he taunted via comms. "The prince will see the truth." The twist hung heavy. Was I truly free of his influence? Buried commands stirred faintly, a whisper of doubt, but the bond with Lyra and Zara drowned it out. In a daring maneuver, we dove deeper into the nebula, using its energies to amplify the Nexus. The ship shuddered, but held, emerging to flank the armada. "Fire!" Lyra commanded, volleys tearing through enemy lines. Draven's ship took hits, shields faltering. "You can't escape fate," he roared, but fate was ours to shape. With a focused burst from my mark, linked to the Nexus, a wave of light engulfed the dreadnought, disabling it. Draven's hologram flickered. "This isn't over. The shadows linger within you." His words seeded uncertainty, the twist surprise leaving echoes of potential betrayal. As the armada scattered, victory tentative, Lyra turned to me. "My son, you've returned, but Draven's right, the choice remains." Zara's hand in mine, we faced the stars, the powerful revelation binding us anew, surprises unfolding like the nebula's endless swirls. The ship stabilized, repairs beginning, but the twist reshaped everything. I was no longer just Jace. I was Alluring, Prince of Velquar, caught in a web of family, prophecy, and desire turned familial. The bond endured, evolving. As we prepared for whatever shadows lingered, the ship stabilized with a final shudder, the nebula's mists parting slightly as we emerged from its depths. The scattered remnants of Draven's armada flickering like dying embers on the scanners. Repairs hummed in the background, crew members darting through corridors with tools and focused expressions, but the real turbulence brewed within us, me, Lyra, and Zara, as the revelation of my true identity as Alluring, the lost prince, settled like a heavy fog. Lyra lingered close, her hand on my shoulder, a mother's touch now overlaying what had once been something far more intimate, her violet eyes searching mine for the boy she'd lost. Zara stood a step away, her white hair still tousled from the fight, her pointed ears twitching with a mix of joy and uncertainty, the bond we'd forged in the sanctum now tangled in this familial web. "Alluring," Lyra said, her voice a dramatic blend of Empress authority and maternal tenderness, drawing out the name like a long-forgotten melody. "We must address this fully. The shadows Draven mentioned, they're not just his forces, they are the doubts he planted in you long ago." She guided me to a quieter alcove off the bridge, Zara following hesitantly, the three of us forming a tight circle under the soft glow of a crystal light. The awkwardness hit immediately, thick and palpable, as memories of our ritual flashed unbidden. The touches, the closeness, now reframed through the lens of family. I shifted on my feet, rubbing the back of my neck. "Look, call me Jace for now. Alluring sounds like a guy who wears capes and broods in towers. And about those doubts, what if they're right? What if I'm wired to betray you?" Zara's eyes widened, her hand reaching out instinctively before pulling back as if unsure of the boundaries now. "You wouldn't. The bond we share, it's stronger than any scheme." But her flush returned, that lavender tint creeping up her cheeks, and she glanced away, the drama heightening with every unspoken word about what that bond had entailed. Lyra noticed, her own expression flickering with a mix of regret and resolve. The ritual was meant for allies, not kin, yet fate wove it this way, awakening your heritage. We must navigate this carefully, my children. The word children hung there, amplifying the awkward silence, and I couldn't help but chuckle nervously. Children? Great. Now I feel like I'm in a cosmic family therapy session. "Hey mom, sis, remember that time we saved the Empire and things got weird?" Lyra's lips twitched, a hint of humor breaking through her regal facade, but the drama pressed on as she activated a small holographic projector, displaying fragmented records from the abduction. Images of an infant me, pale, with budding, pointed ears, being spirited away by shadowed figures, Draven's younger self orchestrating from afar. "He altered you to infiltrate humanity, planting seeds of chaos, but your return, it's a miracle." Zara leaned in, her shoulder brushing mine accidentally, and we both froze, the contact sparking an awkward jolt. She pulled back quickly. "Sorry, habit." I grinned, trying to diffuse it. "No worries, just don't start calling me bro yet, might make things even weirder." The moment lightened briefly, but Kale's voice interrupted over the comms, urgent and clipped. Empress, an encrypted signal incoming from Draven. He's requesting parley. Lyra's face hardened, the drama surging as she accepted the hail. Draven's hologram materialized, his crimson eyes gleaming with mock sincerity, the obsidian streaks in his hair catching the light like daggers. Sister, nephew, niece, how delightful this family reunion. But let's dispense with pleasantries. Alluring, the shadows within you call, join me and rule as you were meant to. His words dripped with temptation, heightening the internal conflict as faint whispers stirred in my mind again, echoes of buried commands. I stepped forward, the awkward family dynamic fueling my defiance. Uncle dearest, if this is your idea of a welcome home party, you forgot the cake. I'm staying put, with the side that doesn't kidnap babies. Zara stifled a laugh, but Lyra's gaze was steel. Parley denied, brother. Your armada's remnants won't save you. Draven's image smirked. Oh, but they will, and Alluring, remember, blood binds deeper than you know. The hologram faded, leaving tension crackling like static. Alarms blared suddenly, red lights pulsing, Draven's remaining forces launching a desperate assault, cloaked ships emerging from the nebula's folds. All hands, Lyra commanded, her voice booming with dramatic intensity. We scrambled to stations, the bridge alive with activity. Zara and I ended up at adjacent consoles, our proximity awkward yet necessary, hands brushing as we coordinated defenses. Shields at 80%, reroute power, called her focus sharp, but when our eyes met, a flush spread, the ritual's intimacy clashing with our new reality. I quipped, teamwork makes the dream work, sis. Just pretend we're in a holovid, the royal siblings strike back. The humor landed, easing the moment as lasers streaked past the viewport, our enhanced Nexus shields absorbing impacts with brilliant flares. But drama escalated when a boarding pod breached a lower deck, Zavaran warriors pouring in. They're heading for the Nexus. Kale warned. Lyra turned to us. Alluring, Zara, go, protect it, I'll hold here. We dashed through corridors shaking with explosions, Zara's energy staff glowing, my gauntlet charged. Like old times, I said, dodging debris. She smiled faintly. Except now your family makes it personal. We reached the Nexus chamber, warriors already swarming, their scaled armor clashing against the crystals. The fight erupted, dramatic clashes of energy and fist, me channeling my awakened powers to hurl arcs of light, Zara spinning like a whirlwind. One warrior grabbed her and I tackled him, our bodies tumbling in a heap. Get off her, I growled, blasting him away. Zara helped me up, our faces close, the awkward spark igniting before we both pulled back. Thanks, brother. The word felt strange and I laughed. Yeah, this hero stuff's easier without the family discount. More warriors pressed, the drama peaking as Draven's voice echoed via hacked comms. Feel the pull, nephew, the shadows awaken. Doubt flickered, my tattoo burning, buried commands urging betrayal. I hesitated, a warrior's blade swinging, Zara blocked it, her eyes pleading. Fight it, Alluring, we're your family now. The awkward tension of our past bond fueled my resolve, I couldn't betray them. With a roar, I unleashed a Nexus wave, repelling the invaders, crystals shattering around us in dramatic bursts. Back on the bridge, smoke curling from panels, Lyra embraced us, motherly yet the undercurrents lingered. You did it, she whispered, but scanners showed Draven's dreadnought closing, a final gambit. He's ramming course, Kale shouted. Drama soared as the massive ship bore down, our weapons firing futilely. Evasive, Lyra ordered, but it was too late, the dreadnought grazed us, hulls scraping in a screech of metal. In the chaos, I accessed the Nexus remotely through my mark, amplifying a counterpulse. The dreadnought reeled, systems failing. Draven hailed again, desperate. Join me, Alluring, it's your destiny. I faced him. Destiny? Nah, I make my own, and it doesn't include creepy uncles. Humor undercut the tension, but the awkward family truth added depth. Fire torpedoes. Lyra commanded, the shots piercing Draven's shields. His ship exploded in a fireball, but escape pods jettisoned, Draven fleeing. He's not done, Zara said, her hand on my arm, the touch now comforting, familial. Lyra nodded. But for now, we've won, my son. Home at last. The embrace included us all, awkward edges softening into genuine warmth, humor peeking through my quip. Group hug. Empire saved, family found, best day ever minus the near-death parts. As repairs continued, we gathered in Lyra's quarters, the nebula calming outside. Conversations flowed, stories of my lost childhood, Zara's memories of a missing brother. Awkward moments arose, like when Zara joked about our sibling rivalry starting late, but laughter bridged them. The drama of lingering shadows hung, Draven out there plotting, but our bond, evolved, unbreakable, held firm. scouts reported Draven's pods vanishing into hyperspace, a temporary reprieve. "We'll hunt him," Lyra declared dramatically. I added, "Family road trip, count me in." Zara laughed, the humor lightening the weight. "In this new dynamic, we face the future, Prince, Empress, Princess, united against the stars." Yet doubts whispered faintly, the prophecy's choice not fully made. As we planned, awkward glances reminded us of paths crossed, but strength emerged from it. The Empire endured, our family reborn in fire and revelation. As the nebula's mists thinned behind us, the Auralis Eternal surged forward into clearer space, stars streaking past like promises of new beginnings. Draven's escape pods had vanished into hyperspace, but our scanners traced their faint energy trails, leading toward the heart of Velkwar, the crystalline throne world itself. Lyra stood on the bridge, her Empress stature unbroken, white hair flowing as she issued orders with quiet authority. Zara and I flanked her, our family unit forged in fire now feeling more solid, the awkward edges from our revelations smoothing into a comfortable rhythm. "We'll intercept him before he reaches the core palaces," Lyra declared, her violet eyes gleaming with determination. "He seeks to rally hidden allies there, but we won't let him poison our home." I nodded, my hand resting on the console where my mark, the seal of royalty, still pulsed faintly, a constant reminder of who I truly was. Alluring, Prince of Velkwar, blended with Jace the smuggler, creating something uniquely powerful. Zara caught my eye, her smile warm and sisterly, devoid of the earlier confusion. "Together, brother, no shadows can touch us now." The word brother no longer carried awkward weight. It felt right, a bond deepened by trials. Kale approached, bowing slightly. "Empress, the Nexus is at full capacity, thanks to the Prince's awakening. We're ready." The journey through hyperspace was brief, the ship emerging near Velkwar's orbit, a breathtaking world of shimmering crystal spires and lush, bioluminescent forests under twin moons. But danger loomed. Draven's pods had landed, and reports flooded in of skirmishes at the palace gates. "He's inciting rebellion," Lyra said, her voice laced with sorrow for her fractured kin. We deployed shuttles, descending to the surface in a formation that cut through the atmosphere like arrows. Zara and I piloted one together, her at the controls, me manning weapons. "Remember your training sims?" she teased, echoing our earlier battles. I grinned. "Yes, but real life's got better company." Landing amid the chaos, we stepped out into a world that felt both alien and home. Crystal towers hummed with energy, but shadows crept, Zavaran loyalists clashing with Velkwar guards in flashes of light and blade. Lyra led the charge, her energy sword gleaming, cutting a path toward the Grand Palace where Draven had holed up. "For the Dominion!" she cried, her presence inspiring waves of defenders to rally. Zara and I fought beside her, our movements synced from countless skirmishes, my gauntlet unleashing bursts that shattered enemy ranks. A warrior lunged at Zara, but I intercepted, twisting his arm and sending him flying. "Not today," I muttered. She flashed a grateful smile. My protective brother always watching out. Deeper into the palace, the halls echoed with history, murals depicting ancient prophecies, including the Starbridge, now vividly alive with my image woven in. The drama built as we approached the throne chamber, guards falling back under our assault. Draven's voice boomed through speakers, taunting. "Come, family, let's end this reunion properly." We burst through the doors, the vast room dominated by a towering crystal throne, Draven seated upon it like a usurper, his crimson eyes burning. Flanked by elite warriors, he rose, blade in hand. "Alluring, you felt the shadows call. Why fight your nature?" Lyra stepped forward, her robe billowing. "Because he's chosen light, brother, your manipulations end here." The air crackled with tension, the final confrontation unfolding like destiny's climax. Draven laughed, a chilling sound. "Chosen, the boy I shaped? Watch." He activated a device, and pain lanced through my mind. Buried commands surging, urging me to strike at Lyra. I staggered, visions of betrayal flashing, turning on my family, claiming the throne in shadow. Zara's eyes widened in horror. "Alluring, fight it," Lyra reached out. "My son, remember who you are." The struggle was internal, dramatic, a war of identities. Jace's human grit clashed with Alluring's heritage, the prophecy's duality tearing at me. But memories of our bonds, Lyra's embrace, Zara's laughter, the ritual's unity now purified into familial love anchored me. With a roar, I shattered the commands, my mark blazing bright. "I'm not your puppet." I charged, gauntlet clashing against Draven's blade in a flurry of sparks. Zara and Lyra joined, a trio against his forces. The battle raged, blades singing, energy arcs flying. Draven was formidable, his strikes fueled by twisted ambition, but our unity prevailed. Zara disarmed a guard, her staff whirling, while Lyra parried Draven's blows with maternal fury. "You stole my child, now face a mother's wrath." I found an opening, my human ingenuity shining, feinting low before striking high, my gauntlet cracking his armor. He stumbled, surprise in his eyes. "Impossible. The shadows should consume you." But they didn't. In a final push, I channeled the nexus through my mark, linking to the palace crystals. Light erupted, engulfing Draven in a purifying wave. He screamed as shadows peeled away, his form weakening. "This can't be." Guards faltered, surrendering as the light spread, quelling the rebellion. Draven collapsed, defeated but alive, his crimson eyes dimming. "The prophecy, you chose light." Lyra approached, not with vengeance but sorrow. "Brother, your exile stands, but perhaps redemption awaits." Guards took him away, the throne chamber falling silent, victory hard won. As peace settled, the Dominion's forces cheered outside, news of the prince's return spreading like wildfire. We stood together, mother, daughter, son, the awkward paths we'd walked leading to this harmonious end. Zara hugged me tightly. "You did it, Alluring, our family is whole." Lyra joined, her embrace warm, "And the Empire endures thanks to you." I smiled, feeling complete. "Call me Jace sometimes, keeps things grounded, human side and all." In the days that followed, Velquar healed. Draven was imprisoned, his shadows dispelled, the prophecy fulfilled in unity. I took my place as prince, blending human resourcefulness with alien grace, strengthening the Dominion against future threats. Lyra ruled wisely, Zara by her side, our bonds unbreakable. Reflections came in quiet moments, strolling crystal gardens, sharing stories of lost years. "I never imagined finding you like this," Lyra said one evening under the twin moons, but the stars aligned. Zara added, "And brought adventure we won't forget." I chuckled. "Yeah, from smuggler to prince, best plot twist ever." The Empire flourished, alliances with human worlds forming, HFY spirit shining through, humanity's tenacity proving key in saving an alien realm. I stood on a balcony, gazing at the stars, Zara and Lyra beside me. "What's next?" Zara asked. "More adventures," I replied. "Family style." Lyra smiled. "Indeed, the stars are ours." And so, the story closed, not with endings, but horizons, a lost son found, an empire secured, bonds eternal. In the vast cosmos, where humans and aliens intertwined, hope burned bright, a testament to love, courage, and the unyielding human spirit. But wait, there was more to savor in this resolution. As prince, I delved into Velquar's archives, uncovering secrets of my abduction, Draven's jealousy rooted in a childhood slight, his fall to shadows a cautionary tale. Lyra shared tales of my infancy, her voice soft with emotion. "You had such curiosity, even then." Zara and I trained together, her teaching me alien arts, me sharing human wits like improvising weapons from scraps, earning laughs from guards. "Humans are odd," she'd say, but with admiration. One ceremony stood out, my official coronation as heir. The palace thronged with dignitaries, crystals aglow. Lyra placed the circlet on my head, her eyes proud. "Prince Alluring, Bridge of Stars." Cheers echoed, but Zara's whisper meant most. "Welcome home, brother." The awkward intimacies of before transformed into deep familial love, pure and strong. Draven's trial brought closure. In chains, he faced judgment. "I sought power," he admitted, but lost family. Lyra offered mercy, a remote exile monitored. "Redeem yourself, brother." He nodded, a spark of regret. As he departed, shadows lifted fully. Human envoys arrived, intrigued by my story. A human prince, they'd marvel. I'd quip, half human, full trouble. Alliances bloomed, tech exchanges blending worlds. Velquar's crystals powered human ships, human ingenuity fortified alien defenses. HFY moments shone, my smuggler hacks thwarting a minor incursion, proving humanity's edge. Personal joys abounded. Picnics in bioluminescent forests, Lyra recounting Dominion history, Zara and I racing shuttles. "You're cheating," she'd laugh. "Human instinct," I'd retort. Evenings ended with stargazing, reflecting on the journey from void drift to throne. One night, Lyra confided, "I offered you the empire, but you gave me back my heart." Zara added, "And mine." I hugged them. We built this together. The story's end was perfect, not flawless, but real, filled with growth, love, and endless possibility. As moon set, I whispered to the stars, "Thanks for the wild ride." The cosmos winked back, promising more. In this galaxy of wonders, our family stood united, a beacon of hope. Yet to truly wrap it, consider the legacy. Years passed in peace, but adventures called, exploring uncharted sectors, forging new pacts. Jace's spirit kept us bold, Alluring's heritage wise. Lyra retired gracefully, passing the throne to us siblings, ruling jointly. The prophecies bridge, she'd say. In quiet times, I'd visit Earth colonies, bridging gaps. Your legend, friends said, I'd smile. Just a guy who found home. The end came not with fanfare, but contentment, a family dinner under stars, laughter echoing. To us, Lyra toasted. To the Empire, Zara added. To tomorrow, I finished. And so, the tale concluded, a good ending woven from chaos to harmony, where a human heart claimed an alien empire and love conquered all. And so, as the stars aligned in eternal harmony, the Empire thrived under the united rule of family and fate, a testament to the unbreakable spirit of humanity among the cosmos. Personally, I love how this story blends epic sci-fi adventure with heartfelt family bonds. It's a reminder that true power comes from love and choice, not just empires. What do you think? Would you choose the Empire, or the hearts that come with it? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you all for watching and joining this journey with us. Your likes, subs, comments, and shares mean the world. They fuel our passion to create even more amazing HFY tales. See you in the next story.